Hey, hey, welcome to Iceland. Yes, Iceland. And I know a lot of you folks out there are going to be asking me, Michelle, haven't you been to Iceland like twice already? Yes, I have. And this is my third time here. I fully admit I am completely obsessed with Iceland. Now, in my defense, I was supposed to be here for my third time 3 years ago in July of 2020, and we all know what happened then, don't we? So, anyway, I am at a campsite at the very beginning of a 6-day trek that I am going to be doing. Actually, day one is already over. It is called don't keep me to the pronunciation on these Icelandic names, Laugavegur Trail, and it is supposed to be one of the most beautiful trails in the world. Not supposed to, it is. I mean, I've already been on day one. This is pretty short by my standards. The Laugavegur Trail per se is only about 55 kilometers, a little bit over 30 miles or so, and then I'm doing a 2-day extension which brings the whole thing to about 50 miles. But it is just absolutely stunning terrain. You know, Iceland is known as a land of fire and ice. It's all either volcanic terrain or glaciers, and we already had an earthquake today, which was weird because I grew up with earthquakes and I'm used to like things that build and take a while to develop, and this was just like this one like jolt as we were in our hut where we're spending the night for today. So basically what today was a 4-hour drive, almost 4-hour drive from Reykjavik to the beginning of the trail. And then because you've already done a 4-hour drive, rather than like immediately start doing a full day trek, today was just kind of like our intro trek, right? So we did like 4 or 5 miles of trekking. It was quite the intro. It was absolutely stunningly beautiful. And that was it. And, we cooked dinner. We're staying in these little refuges, which you would never imagine me staying in. It's basically a dorm with 16 people in it. We're all going to be very cozy tonight. But I've always said that if I really want to do something, I will do it, no matter what the conditions are. If I have a choice, I will take the nicer choice. If I don't, then I'll do what I need to do. But, take a look. Here we are, 4-hour bus ride later. This is home for tonight. Good morning. Welcome to day 2 in Iceland. Today we officially start the Laugavegur, God help me with the pronunciation, trek after yesterday's introductory little hike. And beautiful morning. I mean, we've been so lucky, and obviously we're just starting, but yesterday, like super sunny. The mornings do start out like foggy and, a lot of low fog, and then it just kind of burns off. But you can see already sun's starting to peek out, and it looks like it's going to be another lovely day, which is fabulous because it rains a lot in Iceland. So the more sun we get, the better. Especially today is our longest day. 25 kilometers, 15 miles, about 3,000 feet of elevation. So we've had breakfast, we've made our lunch sandwiches. It's time to leave the campsite and get going. Amazing stuff so far, huh? We've been going for 3 hours and only traversed about 5 miles out of the 15 we have to do today. At this rate, although I think the first half is like the climby heavy part of it, so that's why it's so slow. But you can hardly complain with these views. And I love Iceland, and one of the reasons, and you guys have been seeing it throughout the morning, it's just the contrasts and how quickly the landscape changes from one moment to the next. It's just so stark. It's so beautiful. the halfway point. We are here. Lunch break, potty break, and apparently we are done with pretty much most of the climbing. Got a bit colder all of a sudden. There's a saying in Iceland, if you don't like the weather, wait 5 minutes. And oh my God, like what you guys saw earlier, we had beautiful blue skies, it was warm, and then basically as soon as we got to the midpoint hut where we stopped for lunch, this happened. Like fog rolled in, it's super cold and windy. And we know it is supposed to rain later, but forecast says not till 6, which would be amazing because we should be back. Well, we should be at our next point by then. Problem is I'm feeling like a little bit of a drizzle now. Seven, foggy, soggy, sometimes fun, and sometimes miserable. Miles later, we're finally at our campsite. Oh, there's a lake at my campsite. Who knew? Certainly we didn't when we arrived last night in the rain and the fog, and oh my God, what an end to yesterday. But anyway, that's another story, right? It is day 3 on our Laugavegur trek here in Iceland, and last night, oh my God. Before you knew it, the fog rolled in, and it was like heavy fog. I felt it looked like out of a, Stephen King movie or something. But it was quite beautiful. Even though like all of a sudden our views were gone, it was still very cool to walk through that until the rain came. And then I was actually doing well. I mean, you've got your rainproof gear and all of that good stuff. And then we got to this point very close to the end where we had to cross a river. And I mean, at this point it's cold and you're wet and you're having to take your boots off and your socks off and roll up your pants and go through this raging river and then try and dry off and put on now wet socks and boots. And the last couple of miles into our mountain hut or whatever you want to call it, they just broke me. I was completely fine until the river crossing, and then at that point I think it was just that it started raining, the type of rain that goes straight into your face where you can't even look up anymore. So you're just looking down and you're just cold and wet and miserable and like, let me get there already. But thankfully our huts are nice and warm. And we had a wonderful lamb stew for dinner. Good wine, good company. It all made that up for it. And it is dry today. Still a lot of low fog, but it's starting to burn off and I am seeing blue sky above me. And just in case you were wondering, this is the line for the bathroom. Time to get this party started. Time for the second river crossing of the day.
Oh, the poles would have made it faster.
Guys, I keep messing up my watch. Twice today already. I'm wearing a Sunto watch, which is great because it lasts like over 120 hours or something like that between charges. And when you're spending 5 days without electricity, well, that's wonderful. But the thing is that I don't use it that much. And so I keep like accidentally pausing it and then forgetting to restart it. And so I really have no idea how much we have hiked today. But that forces me to go a little bit more with the flow, which is good. I just always like to know like where I am in the hike. We've already done not one, but 2 river crossings, which are kind of fun. They're ice cold, but they're kind of fun. It's just a lot of logistics because obviously you can't cross the river wearing your hiking boots, right? Because then you'd end up in, well, soaking wet boots and, can you say blisters? So what you do is that, you know, you take off the boots, you take off the socks, put on river shoes, you know, like the Keen water sandals type thing that you can hike in, and cross in that. The water is not only ice cold, it's like pretty fast and super rocky bottom, so you just really need to be careful to kind of keep your balance and, you know, not fall over, because that would be bad, and not to drop your shoes. One of the girls in our group, she dropped her shoes in the water and they started to like flow away, and fortunately we were able to rescue her boots because otherwise she'd be in trouble. It's not like, you know, do you guys see like a Walmart anywhere inside here? Yeah, no Walmart, so it would have been a problem. There goes our luggage trailer. At least we think it might be. Although we have no idea where the road goes and what direction we're going. But hey, I'm calling it our luggage trailer. And that's that. Clearly, we are arriving at our designated plunge spot. And I wonder if there are falls over there. It sounds like there might be a waterfall just behind there. It was a waterfall. Yay! Y'all, people ask me, why are you in the middle of nowhere, going from hut to hut, sharing a room with 16 strangers, where your bathrooms are outside, you know, you have to prepare your own meals. Well, this is why. This right there is why. Well, as you can see, we didn't beat the rain. The rain beat us. But the good news is I think we only have about a mile left for the hut. We did want to do a little extra credit, so let's see how long this burst of rain lasts and if we get to or not. here it is, our little detour to a canyon right next to our campsite slash hut for tonight. And it is clearly one of those places that, hard as you try, you just can't begin to capture how magnificent it is. Oh! You got it!
We'll see. We'll have to decide.
Hello, good afternoon. We are in the afternoon of day 4, just after the cutest little lunch break in this little cove on the side of the cliff, overlooking a canyon and some waterfalls. It was pretty idyllic, I gotta say, as lunch spots go. Anyway, today has been a lot of like rolling up and down kind of a thing, which is funny because days 3 and 4 on the Laugavegur track are supposed to be like quite flat, but what I've discovered is that Icelandic standards flat and Chicago standard flats are two very, very different things. But it's all good. You can't complain. Also, day 3 and day 4 on the Laugavegur track tend to be a lot of what you're seeing now. So like open plain surrounded by the mountains, but not actually going up and over them. What's also quite fabulous is the glacier that I'm looking at in front of me. Let me turn around slowly. Hopefully you can see it. Sometimes with the sun, you really can't appreciate like how I'm appreciating it. I think you can. So, anyway, about 4 more miles to go to our destination. We get to say goodbye to a couple of the folks in our group tonight who were only doing the first part of the trek, and then they're off to do something else later on this afternoon. So, anyway, chat later. Check it out, trees. This is actually like a huge anomaly in Iceland. There are almost no trees at all. From what I understand, back in the day, as in, hundreds of years ago, about 40% of the country was forested, but they basically all disappeared. And a lot of it is, of course, it's such a volcanic area that it's just hard for them to be, sustained. And so there's been really an effort to reforest parts of Iceland, but slow process.
Down there? No.
No, I'm here. This is it. The end of the Laugavegur trail. Or the beginning, really. It depends what way you want to start and finish. No.
I don't even think you're on this line.
Yeah. I think you should go to the grassy patch where there's actual sun. Good morning from Thorsmark. At least I think that's how you pronounce it. I kind of give up on Icelandic pronunciations at this point. But anyway, welcome from an amazingly beautiful place. Look at that. Is that incredible? This is the setting for our last hut of the trek. It's where we spent last night, and it's where we get to spend tonight. So it's kind of nice because we don't have to do the whole packing and moving thing, which is just a nice chill way to finish our last full day of trekking. If we ever find our guide, we've kind of lost our guide this morning. Nobody has seen him. There have been no hokum sightings today, and we're a little bit worried. We think he wasn't feeling that great yesterday, had some tummy issues, but hopefully he'll surface. The rest of us were not exactly early risers today either. We were all a bit more rowdy than some of the other groups last night, so no one's in that much of a rush, except that the other groups already had like bacon and eggs, and we've barely had coffee, so we are getting a little bit grumpy. But trekking wise, there's only about a 10-mile loop to do today. I think we were all given the choice between like a harder trek and an easier trek today, and everyone's tired, and we were like, let's go for the easier trek. Plus we were told the easier trek's actually more beautiful. We found our guide. He is in fact a bit under the weather, so he's going to accompany us through the hard parts of the early part of today's hike, and then let us be, as we have a nice chill hike around the area.
Do the shorter one in case it starts raining. God, if it had started raining on us.
Good morning. Well, this is it. It is day 6, our last day on this Icelandic adventure, which has just been absolutely fabulous. A little bit bittersweet, you know. At the end, you're always kind of like glad that you can get to go home already, and you're tired, but you're also sad and not wanting to leave, you know, this amazing place. I mean, just look at my little spot on the park bench where I'm sitting. So yeah, it's been a great time. You know, I'm so glad I did this. after being here twice, I always knew that I wanted to get off of that main ring road that circles Iceland, which, spectacular as it is, I always just kind of wanted to know what was on the other side, right? To get out of the car and walk on the other side of those fjords. And now I know. And it's definitely reinforced my view of Iceland being just one of the most spectacularly beautiful countries in the world. And just the landscapes are sometimes so otherworldly. You just feel like you're on another planet. And so it's been really cool. And what's also been cool is that, our group, there's a lot of us. We started as 14, lost 2 because they finished their trip early. So we ended up as 12. But with all of us in such close quarters, this could have gone a lot of different ways. And we all gelled very well together. And so that was just really cool and something to be grateful for. Our guide, a bit lacking. I've mentioned it before. I mean, really nice kid, but he is a kid. He's 21, has no business guiding. We could have self-guided if the logistics were taking care of us. But really, I mean, just minimal thing to complain about, honestly. It's just been so cool. And so today, one last little hike, just a short one, get us to some other hut where we're supposed to have lunch. Bus will pick us up, take us back to Reykjavik. We'll be there this evening. And that's it. Time to get ready for another adventure.